This happened a few weeks ago, and we talked about Mercedes Moné a little bit. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it might have been on that fabled Forbidden Door review show, in fact. But I gave you more stuff, and also there's a Jim Cornette quote out there that I want your opinion as to whether it's too harsh, in your opinion, or you think it's mostly on the Moné. I just thought about that. Mercedes Moné. Now, I gave you some matches. I gave you some videos of her hitting or not quite hitting the Moné maker as the finisher as well. I want to talk to you about what you think of her as a worker. I know you said that she was better from WWE. Let me give you the Jim Cornette quote first. She's a rotten actress. She's physically unimpressive. She's blah to me in the ring because she misses as much as she hits, or she's trying to hold her wig on top. And but she loves what she's doing, we can't deny that. She's just not really very good at any of the parts of it. And did I mention those rotten promos? But she's got dedication.
Yeah, she's committing to the bit, as Ben Hameen would say. But yeah, she seems, I said before, she's regressed since she left WWE and went to AEW. And that's a fact. And the thing, too, is she could use some coaching, and then she's going to get mad at me about this, but she could use somebody to point out those flaws so she can get better. And she has a look. I think the look, and even the way she was, let's put these two words, because we'll attach the Kyle Fletcher thing to this a little bit. Do you know what she has going for her? Number one is her look, but it's not the number one thing, but it's one of the top. Timing. She got over at NXT when WWE was really wanting NXT to get over. Sasha Banks, or Sasha Bank as Fox Football said, NFL Football, Bayley, Charlotte, she's in that entire crew, right? That entire crop at that time that got called up. And they wanted them to succeed. And she was right, you put Naomi in there too during those years. And it's all momentum after that. And all the momentum from that initial push and always getting used as a singles and then eventually a tag team with Naomi before they left, that momentum got her millions of dollars a year at AEW, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is she's a rotten actress. Yeah, well, you know what you do then? You try to figure out what your character is. You try to figure out how to talk. Her heat, and Jim Cornette would say this because this is a Memphis thing, I think, her heat is channel-changing heat right now. Like, I just can't, say the right to censor. We were right on the cusp of being channel-changing heat, but WWE booked the segments in such a way where it's like, oh, before he got too annoying, someone's coming out to kick his ass. Kind of tempered with that. You needed to get some heat and do that. She's getting the wrong kind of heat. And also it feels like she commits to the bit, but at the same time, she feels very content with what she's doing. Like, I've made it. I know what I'm doing. I'm here. And by the way, you're making millions of dollars a year. How can I criticize that? Somebody thinks you're good enough or great enough to be paid millions a year and have a string of belts laid out on a table. What do I know? I got a BWO belt over there. That's about all I got.
You should get it on the belt.
I'd put her over. She get the BWO belt on TV. I'll do it. I don't care. It's what I do best.
Well, aside from putting over Mercedes Moné for your BWO championship, which you've got somewhere in your office and I think I've only seen once, we need to put over the sponsor of this video clip today, BetterHelp. Now, there's any number of different reasons life can be stressing you out or getting you down, and I'll give you an example from my own life. So over this past year or two, as far as changing circumstances goes, I've got married, having and raising children, this YouTube podcasting career, which is getting bigger and bigger, and Stevie, you know this as well, where I'm now all of a sudden responsible for a number of people. And if you think I don't feel the pressure and the weight of that responsibility and that I take things in my stride, nothing could be further from the truth. The absolute worst thing you can do in any kind of negative situation is keep your problems entirely to yourself. And I know dudes do this more than women do. And speaking mostly to the dudes on this video as well. The most important thing to do is to stop getting overwhelmed by life and its challenges by actually talking to somebody. A problem shared is a problem halved. And I know this, and Stevie knows this, and that is where BetterHelp can assist you.
Thank you, James. The most important thing a therapist can do is listen to what you have to say, but therapists can also offer helpful advice and help change your outlook on life. The way BetterHelp works is simple. You fill out a questionnaire and you're matched with the right therapist in as little as a couple of days. If only a service like this existed when I was on the road with WWE, you can bet that I would definitely use it. And if you feel like your chosen therapist isn't the right fit for you, you can switch therapists at no extra cost. To help make your journey to better mental health more affordable, BetterHelp is offering 10% off your first month of therapy through our exclusive link in the description of this video, betterhelp.com/Stevie Richards. No matter how big and strong you are, and believe me, I've worked with some of the biggest and baddest guys around, real strength comes from within. If there are circumstances in your life that you are struggling with right now, do not, and I repeat, do not battle them alone. Once again, thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Click our exclusive link, betterhelp.com/Stevie Richards, for 10% off your first month of therapy.
Once again, with the Forbidden Door thing, I think that was basically the match that we maybe both agreed was the worst on the show. Just
and she had the best one before the pay-per-view before.
I know, with Toni Storm, and then you said ever since then she's basically regressed again.
All In was that was probably maybe the best match on the show, I think, right? I said there was.
I don't know if it's the best match. It's definitely the best match she's had in AEW.
It's one of the top 3 matches on the show. Let's say that. But it was something where it was like, wow, this was a really good match. Then the very next pay-per-view was like, what is going on here?
Well, weirdly, she's now been established that she's not World Championship material because Toni Storm beat her clean, and now she's just kind of doing the same thing she's doing before, bringing out belts and dancing. And then being in tag matches, I guess, with her friends. And apart from that Forbidden Door match, I sent you a couple of other matches. And did you have the same reaction I did when I watched them? I went, oh my God! This is the same girl who was in the Toni Storm match like 3 weeks ago.
It's Hot Wheels feet. A lot of Hot Wheels feet I saw. I'll say this about the finish. This is where, in modern wrestling, she's not immune to this. I'd rather go back to the bank statement, the one where she flips over and goes into the crossface. That was her finish for the tap out, right? Mm-hmm. This other one, and I talked, actually, I can name. I talked to Cross about this when he was using that kind of flip thing into the flatliner. I was like, number one, not everybody can take that finish. Number two, it's too convoluted. This is now me speaking to Cross. This is me speaking to Mercedes. When you have to go into this, now I would figure when she hooks it for like the gory special, why not just flapjack the person? It's easy, an easy bump. It's, for 2 light girls to hit at the same time, it will have good impact. But this whole thing up here, and then flipping them over into, it never is consistently done, as you show with these clips. They never take consistent bumps. One of the girls took my bump off the DDT, where she threw the knee in front of her, so she didn't hit her face on the mat. See, this is an ultimate cooperative finish, where the person taking it almost has to do it better than the person giving it, and you're not going to get that consistency. So right there, she's not at a point of process of elimination. She's at the point of trying to add moves that don't really speak to how she's still a good worker. But she needs to be a great worker for the money and the opportunity and the time she's taken up.
You said the problem with that finish, and you named 2, but one thing is that she's very small. There's not many people.
Well, I said you can't do it to you can't. You go from can't do it to everybody to can't do it to hardly anybody. How's that?
Yeah, she can't give it to half the roster, and probably half the roster can't take it. More than half the roster. It goes wrong more than it goes right. I sent you a compilation video that I saw on YouTube, right, for everybody at home, and these were the best ones, and half of them didn't get pulled off right. Then I sent you a couple of ones where they went really wrong, and that's like more than normal. Why?
That was a person taking my DDT bump, right? It requires the ultimate cooperation. And I'm thinking it's 80-20 in the person taking it, because they have to hop up. They have to put the legs around her legs. They have to, when she's ready, because she's not a super big girl as far as muscular or power, They literally have to turn themselves in a way and then, take the face bump. By the way, she wished me well and a speedy recovery when I had the spine infection. So this is independent, no personal issue with this girl or anybody. I want her to do better to where WWE would be like, let's bring her back and pay her even more than AEW. Make the money. But also justify the money you're being paid, because eventually, and maybe now, you tell me after losing to Toni Storm, is she in this thing right here or that? You're the belt collector, but there's one belt you haven't won. So how can you have that gimmick with that still existing on the same show?
Well, that feud's now done. So now it's done is peg Mercedes Moné and this is once again a booking issue. Now that's pegged her in second tier, despite the fact she's the most highly paid woman on the roster, I believe, probably by a long way. But then also once again now she's flatlined in that sense. She's still doing the same thing she was doing before. She's coming out dancing. She's talking about the belts. What happens when you lose the belts? And keep in mind that I wrote a list here. I won't bore you with all 9 of them. One of them's a trophy, and they've included that. Only 2 of the belts matter, the AEW TBS Championship and the CMLL World Women's Championship. All the others, for the most part, are random European belts, 2 of them based in Poland, that some indies basically agreed to work with AEW and have their belt. Doesn't help them. People argue that it does. It doesn't. But then what happens when she's no longer the belt collector? Then where does she go from there?
Well, I have a better question. Is she working all these indies on a regular basis as she's still under contract? You see what I mean? You're being paid millions of dollars. Do these get defended outside the AEW or maybe the CMLL? Did any of them get defended?
No, pretty much not. Or Googling something then and had a pen in my mouth. I'm just looking at Mercedes Moné's matches as well. She is somebody who actually does keep fairly active as well. I'm just going to have a look at her matches. But Rev Pro, which she won the Rev Pro British Women's title, so that was the 9th. She was at Rev Pro another time, but that was the day after. She's not... I'm just having a look. Title change once again. That was in Poland. That was in July 2025. A couple of Rev Pro matches, and then everything else was Dynamite and AEW shows. So
I'm telling you, one of my favorite wrestle crap moments that I love, and I think Botchamania had it up, was her at that Japanese press conference way back playing the ukulele and singing. That was entertaining. It was against Kairi Sane, I think, or Kairi Sane. It was so funny. You got to watch it. You got to watch it on Patreon.
I don't have to watch it again. I saw it.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. Jim Cornette, there's one more quote. I think she's more better off where she is right now than going back to WWE, where she's got him, being Tony Khan, wrapped around her teeny tiny little finger, and he's paying her, from what we understand, quite a pretty penny. Okay, is Mercedes Moné better off in AEW? Yeah. She's getting paid that much, why not?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, unless WWE comes with an incredible offer. But yeah, I mean, the rumors have gone around and she's basically, Tony Khan loves her and that's it. You know what I mean? He's made up his mind. He pays her millions of dollars and good. She's now the part of being a worker. Cornette can criticize her about the work, the promos, the matches. We can talk about the finish being very inconsistent. This makes her a great worker. Getting the promoter under your thumb, or essentially just being like, hi, Tony, get him by the ankles, turn him over, shake all that money out of the pockets. Do that. That's what workers do. Work the company, work the promoter, and make your money. You probably won't be able to do that with TKO.
No, maybe not. I was thinking of Suge Knight and Vanilla Ice when you said that.
Oh, yeah.
Out the window of the
She
fifth
had him
floor.
out the hotel window. It's my record label.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Just to wrap that up, actually, because I'm sure she's really lovely, and the more we talk about things, she does know how to work. I'm sure she does, and the Toni Storm match was really, really good. For the most part, who she's working with, they're not as good as Toni Storm as well. So we can't put everything on Mercedes. But once again, there was a tag match.
You know what her job is, though. You know what her job is, and I'm sorry to interrupt. During the course of that multiple women's match, the one we're talking about, and other things, you have to get this sentence out of your mind forever. whether you're saying it or one of the opponents are. You know what'd be cool? That's what her match, when she was with Toni Storm, they worked a match according to characters. It made sense. When you're just in there with another wrestler, that you know what would be cool starts to creep up, because what else can we do? There's nobody that's a character.
Yeah, there's that whole Bozilla thing. You know, the larger lady. She's not Japanese, but she works in Japan, and she had very, very little experience, and she didn't seem to know how to work like a giant. Yeah, I thought like Mercedes Moné is the veteran here. She should be the one to say to her, "You're the planet that we're all orbiting around your gravitational pull and bouncing off you until we can finally get off your feet," kind of thing. Anyway, none of that happened.
Do you think it's because everybody's afraid if somebody says, and this is the way modern wrestling works, and maybe even during my era, if you start to try to think of ways to get other people over in the match, they're going to start booking you less and less then, because more in AEW means more. More in WWE means more. If you're not kicking out of 15 finishes, are you really any good? That's across the board. That's everywhere.
It would be nice, because it sort of ties into the Carl Fletcher segments as well, and it's not just related to him. We keep bringing him up. It's just because of the earlier segment. It'd just be nice if everyone just brought things back to basics and stripped out the extraneous moves and extraneous ideas that a committee can, not even a committee, but an agent and a couple of wrestlers, maybe Tony Khan himself or Triple H or whoever, whatever company it might be, can all sit there and look at it and goes, yeah, that makes sense from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. If nobody can pick it apart, what is... I know you're not the biggest fan of it. What people kind of needs like a Raven or someone like that. Someone to have an explanation for everything that happens in the match.
Of course, I'm a fan of Raven's mind. It definitely... But you know what they're going to say? Let's just get through this week. That's where it goes on the vine to die. I'll say this. This is back in 2000. Do you know why they got off the Attitude Era and the Smash TV, and it started to kind of settle down and people started to enjoy it a little bit again? Not because The Office can never be wrong. The Office and the company and the bookers can never reverse course, can never change course, but we need to put a character on TV to take all the heat so we're not wrong. We're actually geniuses. They created the right to censor to tone the product down. You need a character, a heel character. It's not going to be me because, you know, if you don't think I'm blacklisted by episode 64, then I appreciate you being a fan. But you need somebody there to step up and take all the heat on TV as a character.
They did. Dan Lambert. Do you remember Dan Lambert a few years ago?
Yep. But
he was basically doing the Jim Cornette thing.
But you invited a bunch of MMA people that just wanted to get their stuff in, right?
It's Paige Van Zandt. No one asked to say hello, and whoever else.
Dan Lambert was doing a good job with that and getting heat, but at the same time, what's the payoff? You're going to have Daniel Bryan beat up Cain Velasquez or somebody, whoever was there. Yeah, but then and also the Paige Van Zandt, was it Jericho? They were going back and forth. She didn't lay out like a heel and let her look foolish. It just went back and forth into an uncomfortable debate.
I'm giving you the full list. George Masvidal, Junie Dos Santos, who I think was actually a wrestling fan, Andrei Arlovsky, unbelievably, Paige Van Zandt, Austin Vanderford, who I don't know, and Dalton Roster, who I don't know either. Team's gimmick based on each member's legitimate MMA background. There you go. They even turned up in Impact, I remember briefly, as well. Tito Ortiz was in Impact, I think, if I'm rightly remembering, very briefly.
He refereed a match. He refereed the match between Jarrett and AJ for the title, correct? Was that Tito?
If you tell me. If you say so,
he knocked out Jeff at the end. He did the Mike Tyson thing.
Oh, man, I tell you.
Hey, Rampage Jackson, I think, did something with Impact or TNA once.
Yeah.
So
he also appeared on WWE, where they never referenced that he was an MMA fighter. But it's because he was Mr. T in the movie version of the A-Team.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a good movie. Hey, by the way, too, I already forgot. Oh, geez. You got me, brother.
Today, CTE.
Today, CTE, you got me. Got me, brother.